Welcome back to Kaulig Nation, your one-stop shop for all things Kaulig Racing, Dinger Nation, SVG Nation, and more. He's Ryan, I'm Sean. Our multiple choice question for this video is, do you think one of the reasons SVG might be out at Trackhouse, perhaps the main reason, is it's financially driven and not result driven? Comment down below and share your thoughts there. Ryan, we've done a couple of videos on this now, and I really liked where your line of thought went on the last video. I had some time to think about it. I mean, obviously, viewers can tell we're recording this at the same time. We're both wearing the same clothes and the same spot because my daughter's freaking out inside. But I thought you brought up a good point. Um, it's not like Suarez is lighting the season on fire so far. He's 32nd in points. SVG's 34. But you brought up a good point off here that I'll let you get to. I do wonder, like, we watched this happen with AJ Allmendinger a couple years ago, man. Nutrient Ag walked away, and they had like 11 races, I believe it was, a sponsorship in the Cup Series, which is big money. And it cost AJ his ride, essentially, in the Cup Series. Now, the only sponsor that makes sense to me for SVG to lose and have it actually impact his ride based on the number of races is, what if WeatherTech is out or severely considering lowering their support? If it happens all the time in NASCAR. Things can be financially driven. Obviously, SVG's struggled on ovals, as we said. I know some people thought that he was going to, um, light the world on fire and be running for top fives and top tens right out of the gate on ovals. We tried to warn people that wouldn't be the case. You had mentioned 4 of the next 12 races are on road courses. That's a huge chance to make a big difference in his season. But if WeatherTech sponsors that car 18 times a year. People can talk about Red Bull and quad lock and safety culture. Those combined only make a handful of races. WeatherTech is doing half a season. If WeatherTech is on the out, which we don't know, this is speculation, that changes things in my opinion. I'm not saying it's right because it's not, and I wish the sport didn't run that way. And obviously, with the added charter money and the new agreement, teams sponsorship isn't quite as urgent as it was, say, last year and the year before. But if you lose, a significant portion of those 18 races or all of them, that's a game changer. Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I think this is, as we sat here and talk about this, it really was the only thing that would really make sense to me as to why there was even a potential for Shane to be out of a ride at Trackhouse. Because we both know Daniel Suarez brings in significant funding. As a Mexican American, we've seen over the years that the Mexican culture is very supportive of their racing. Sergio Perez is very funded because of his relationships back home, and so is Daniel Suarez. He has a lot of support financially that does not appear to be wavering, whereas SVG, well, again, I think most people within the industry realized he was going to struggle. Maybe didn't quite realize he was going to struggle as much as he has so far this year on ovals. And when you're not getting airtime or you're not getting that exposure that you're expecting, sponsors, they have to question, are they getting that return on investment? And WeatherTech is obviously a big player. They sponsor the Xfinity Series as well for Conor Zilic. So maybe there's also a possibility that they've decided to pivot their funding more to Conor Zilic full-time, and that might reduce some of the funding that Shane has available. So again, it's a real possibility, and if that funding is reduced or even gone, then you have to sit back and say, man, maybe this is this is a real hindrance to him continuing forward with the organization. And I do want to quickly touch on, he's also a very expensive racing driver. He's a multi-time champion V8. He is not a pay-to-play driver. They are paying him a salary to be there. And when you look at cost, he himself might not be financially solvent for the organization. So those are real reasons. And as I told you, Sean, off the air, I think the other part that you can't just fully devalue here is Daniel Suarez has been with Trackhouse now for about 5 years, 6 years. He came in with Ross Chastain at the front end. They've been in that partnership from the day Trackhouse was founded. And there are real relationships there. And again, you shouldn't be running businesses off relationships, but I definitely look at Justin Marks as somebody that values those relationships. And Daniel Suarez has been nothing but a premier, member of society. He's been a true spokesman for the organization and for his sponsors. That I just feel like when you look at some of the outlier possibilities, Daniel Suarez has a few, I think, legs up, especially with that relationship he has with Trackhouse. Again, I think the smart business move is to stay with Shane, and unfortunately, that probably means Daniel has to go. But it's not as easy as maybe some people make it out to be. So we'll see. I think they're going to have to make a decision quickly, what direction they want to go in for next year. But I think Shane again has to show out on these road courses and finish strongly, show that he's capable of performing at the highest level, or Daniel Suarez might be around and he won't be.
Yeah, quickly here before we end this thing. What do you think the odds are Kaulig would be willing to replace Ty Dillon and ruffle feathers with Richard Childress, obviously? Ty's only on a 1-year deal. His sponsors are only on a 1-year deal. With SVG, we talked about a couple years ago, if you could pair SVG and AJ in the Cup Series, like you essentially go to every road course on the schedule, and you still have Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick and William Byron to compete against, but you become arguably the favorite team going into these races.
Again, from a performance standpoint, it makes sense. From a performance standpoint, he should not be leaving Trackhouse. I don't think he will. I want to make that clear. But yeah, if the opportunity comes, Matt Kaulig, Chris Rice, would be stupid not to at least make the call and see what's going on. But again, if we are looking at funding as a primary reason here, we know already that AJ is not bringing a lot of funding. Ty Dillon is. Would see best. Would Grizzly Nicotine stick around and work with SVG? Would Red Bull step up? We don't know. Those are the questions we'd actually have to ask. I don't see Kaulig funding 2 cars out of pocket without sponsorship support. And at the end of the day, that would be a big reason. But if you're looking at performance, chances to win, chances to make the playoffs, and I do think Ty Dillon has done a remarkable job this year, it's a no-brainer. SVG would be the driver I'd put in that car in a heartbeat.
Once again, the question is to all you: do you think this debate, according to Jordan Bianchi, about is it going to be SVG or Suarez staying if Zilish is coming up, which sounds like the team's leaning towards, is it financially driven? Comment down below and share your thoughts there. Don't forget, check us out on X at Kaulig Nation and over on Facebook, Dinger Nation, SVG Nation, and Kaulig Nation, as well as Kaulig Racing. And we'll see you in the next video.